Parliamentary committees are on a two-day visit to Eskom. Just yesterday, they met unions including Numsa, and Solidarity. But today, they will meet the Eskom management, and they've promised workers to take their concerns to management. And Mineral Resources Portfolio Committee Chairperson, that's Sahlulele Luzipho, joins us now for more, but also to give us that feedback following that meeting yesterday in Parliament. So thank you so much for your time. We spoke to Numsa earlier on. They gave their perspective in terms of those submissions they made to parliamentarians. But what can you share with us in terms of the outcomes or that engagement that occurred yesterday?
Well, good morning to me and the viewers. Well, as the three portfolio committees, we have been there, and one of the things that made us to meet with Labour is simple because they represent the actual people who are in the cold face of the activities in the power utility. Whether you talk about lights on or lights off, those are the people who are responsible or who are on a daily basis are responsible for the implementation of the decisions or instructions that are given to them. So we would say that, yes, we think that the information given to us was very valuable. And it's an information that we think it will give us a better perspective in our engagement with the board and the executives of Eskom.
And understand that that was just day one. Today is day two. You continue with that engagement. What are you hoping to hear, though, today?
Well, it's not about hoping, but at the end of the day, we must face a reality. We need to find a solution, and we need to find that solution as soon as yesterday. And but obviously, finding the solution for now must also mean that we also take into consideration that it should be a solution that is a lesson that we learn from, so that we are not confronted by when we are confronted or there is a possibility of a similar situation, we are much more wiser than we have been. So part of this exercise is to get what I would call a three-phased approach. One is to find an immediate solution, but also is to find the medium and the long-term solution as a form of an experience. I don't think that it's something that we would wish, if we go past it, to recur again. And therefore we hope that we'll be able to, in our engagement, to find a solution. The reality is that whoever is wrong or right, we first have to resolve the crisis that we are in, and then we can start to deal with issues of finger pointing. At the end of the day, we cannot, if it is human error, like the unions were sharing with us, obviously there has to be consequences for those who have plunged the country in the situation we are in today.
And I suppose for South Africans, I mean, they're currently hoping that solution that you are exploring with the Eskom management would be soon. Is that imminent? Does it look like it's a solution that will come anytime soon, or should South Africans brace themselves for years of more load shedding and blackouts, in your perspective?
Look, I always say I'm an optimistic person, but until we have finalized our engagement, we will see whether there is hope. For an example, the reality is that we must accept a fact that when we engage, especially with the management, these are the same people that are responsible for the implementation of whatever recommendations that are being made. As members of parliament, sadly, it will be impossible to go and say we will do 1, 2, and 3 with regards to practical activities. But we will be able to say from where we are sitting, these are the things that has to happen. And if they are not done, what then do we think has to be an action? Amongst one of those will have to be a consequence management that has to take effect. So yes, we remain optimistic that if for today in our engagement we have to find what do we think is a solution, and I can't say for now and preempt what will be our engagement with the management, but we remain positive that we have to find a solution, not tomorrow, but that solution must be found as early as possible.
Right. Mr. Luzipho, under the same breath, you're engaging with the Eskom management today. We know that two of their key leaders, in the sense of the COO and the CEO, have resigned. They're outgoing, just serving their notice. Any names in the hats? Perhaps you're privy to this information from management as to who exactly they're eyeing for taking over these two key positions, but also when can South Africa expect those appointments to also be made? Because I suppose it's also important to have a captain steering this ship as you try and come up with solutions as soon as you can.
Look, we have not had any names. I think it would be unprocedural for members of parliament to go with having names in the pocket. I think the mandate that we are having is the one that says what recommendations will it come from. For an example, we have to face the reality. Do we want, and that also is subject to engagement, do we want in a situation where the CEO, who over the past years has not been able to achieve what he himself has put as target, the 18 months commitments and other things have never taken in effect. Do we think in the next 2 months that is left, which is February and March, you will make a difference? Or do we are of the view that, look, the sooner you put in someone now who must take over as caretaker, the better. So it will also be subject whether we have got confidence in the management or in the current management that is in the next stage. For an example, yesterday, one of the presentations that was given by one of the unions was that they don't think that you can put blame to one individual because that individual is a CEO. Surely, if we've got that discussion, we had to share with them, say, look, at the end of the day, we must accept that once you take a responsibility of being a chief executive officer, you are the chief accounting officer. It actually means anything that is to be blamed on failure, that includes also success. It starts with you as a chief accounting officer. So at this stage, we have to ascertain whether, in our view, it is possible. Is it correct to keep somebody for 2 months who has not been able to deliver for the better part of his contract? But I think it would be unfair to then say, with regard to that scenario, we suggest this. Let's engage with them. Let's listen. And I think the more we listen, yes, there's agency, but that agency should not make us to make irrational decisions. We have to be, at the end of the day, make rational decisions that will leave a legacy that we think it gives pointers on how to resolve crisis situations.
And we'll leave you to the business of the day as you prepare, of course, to continue with that engagement with Eskom. Hopefully we can catch up again and hear from you how it went. Mr. Luzipho, Mineral Resource Portfolio Committee Chairperson, joining us today, giving us reflections of what happened yesterday, the engagements, not only with Eskom, but also with unions as they, of course, continue with their oversight of the power utility.